What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nehemiah, aka Neo. We not finna have this Genshin Impact commercial going on right now. But today we're gonna be talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know. That Genshin Impact commercial got me shook. I don't know why. But today what we're gonna be talking about is these guys, and in my opinion, I'm not sure if these guys are really as dominant as I once thought they were. Now, let me be clear. I think that this team is definitely still one of the best teams in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, but the problem with this team is that I'm starting to lack faith in terms of how good this offense could be. Now, there are a couple of reasons why. One, they are actually averaging a lot more turnovers than last year, which they were already averaging a quite amount of turnovers. So they had like what, a 25% increase. Yeah, they were like top 15. And even the year before that, especially when they were like, winning the championship, they were not turning the ball over. They were actually pretty smart with the ball, especially during the playoff run. So it's very, very weird that they are actually turning a ball over a lot more. They're bottom five in terms of turnovers, which is kind of crazy. And in my opinion, it's really, really concerning to see, especially from a team like this. Now, there are definitely some like bright spots. They are actually averaging a lot more assists than last year, which is something to really look at, honestly. And I also think that they are one of the better rebounding teams, which is still more possessions, more points potentially in that. But one of the biggest problems again is that this team is not shooting the ball well. Yeah, they're making a really good amount of threes. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they are not. They're really not averaging the best percentage. Even though they're top 10 in both of these stats, they are not the greatest in terms of percentage. So if they're able to get their percentage up, maybe that could change. Once Chris Middleton comes back, which is going to be another discussion, we can really just see maybe like a better emphasis on that type of stuff. But the thing about Chris Middleton is that he's only played 7 games this far. And tomorrow or today, they're actually going to be playing the 41st game. Again, he's only played 7 games thus far. So in order for him to have like this big comeback season, it's really going to be hard for him to really just get into his groove while he's, not really playing basketball the whole year. He's missed what, 25-ish days of basketball? Yeah, he hasn't played in damn near a month. So that's very, very bad to see. If he needs a surgery, another one, that's going to be his third surgery in what? I think 6 months. Not saying that it's gonna impact his game, but you don't want him to be out. There's a good chance that this is gonna be an injury where it may have to take him out until a certain amount of time. And I don't think that they want to do that because they want to win a championship. But again, it's gonna be very concerning to see that. Now, another big problem with this team in terms of its shooting is that Bobby Portis has not been shooting the best. Javon Carter actually has been shooting, but again, Pat Connaughton has to get his season averages up. And let me just look at just their whole 3-point percentage actually. Again, like these guys are rotational players, and they have to shoot a little bit better for them to actually increase their percentages. Though I will say overall, also let's ignore AJ Green because he doesn't play for this team that much. So essentially the only 40% shooter is Grayson Allen, and even then he's not even averaging 40%. So once these guys are able to get their percentages up, maybe that could change, but at the same time, I'm not sure if that's really going to be something that we could really count on. I think that another really good adjustment for this team to make is to play MarJon a little bit more. The games that he's been playing, especially as like when Giannis is out or when someone else is out, he's been doing really, really good work for them. So I think that he may be able to help them offensively going forward. And another thing, they're actually like 23rd in offensive rating. They're one of the worst offenses in the league, but they're still winning games, which is kind of great actually. But again, going back to MarJon, I do think that he does have the potential, especially because he's a younger player. He's only 22. He could really just do a lot of work for the Bucks going forward, especially with Giannis at the forefront. He's only 6 years younger than Giannis. I feel like his game does have a lot to improve with. So yeah. Another thing about MarJon is he's a really good defender, especially at this age. So I expect him, if he's able to really get a lot more playtime, to really just shine in that area. And I hope he does because he's one of the better players that this team actually does have. Now, in terms of trades, I do think that this team does need to make a trade or two. Now, who they need and who they want are completely different. I think that they can really get who they want, but who they need is something completely different. Like, in my opinion, if you were to ask me a player that they really, really want, it's Bojan Bogdanovic. But that being said, everyone wants Bojan Bogdanovic, so it's not really something for me to be like, yeah, they could get him. Nah. He's like a very coveted asset in the NBA right now. They might have to throw in like a draft pick or two to really get him. I'm not sure if the Milwaukee Bucks are going to do that. Not only that, but his contract is kind of big right now. I'm pretty sure he's making like 20 something million dollars. Yeah, he's making like 20 something million. So the Bucks would have to give up like they would have to give up a combination of Bobby Portis's contract, or Brook Lopez, but they're not giving up Brook Lopez. Then they're gonna have to give up like Grayson Allen, Joe Ingles, like Pat Collins, like one of these couple of guys. And I'm not sure if they really want to do that. So I don't really expect Bojan Bogdanovic to be on this roster. Another guy that that I think could make a good splash for this team. The Washington Wizards do have Kyle Kuzma, but if I'm not mistaken, he's actually averaging the same amount of money that Boyan does, so that's gonna be another big problem. Oh no, he's only averaging like 13, so they can actually make sense trade. They only really need to give up like what, a combination of George Hill, and maybe even Pat Connaughton if they're really like. I think that these guys could really just make do. Like if they just want to trade these guys, I think that that's going to be a really good sign to see. I do think that that's probably going to be better for the long run, and I do think that Kyle Kuzma actually does do a lot for this team, especially if he's shooting the ball well. I think that if Kyle Kuzma is shooting the ball well, then this team could really just have like a better dimension to them. Now, in terms of any other teams that could use like a trade, and this is more so for like a four. I think that this team does need a four when Giannis is at the five. Not necessarily a defensive four, but I do think that more so like an offensive guy, kind of like a Bobby Portis type of role, like back one, but a better shooter in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm looking for this team. So that's gonna be one thing. But overall, if you were to ask me like how I'm feeling about the Bucks, they do need a trade in my opinion for me to put them above a team like the Boston Celtics right now, because it's looking like Chris Middleton is not playing that much in this season, and he may not be able to get to the heights that we expect him to. So that's going to be one of the bigger problems with this roster. They've been over the last 10 games. I'm pretty sure they were either like 4-6 or 5-5, which is not good. And in my opinion, I really don't want to see something like that for the Milwaukee Bucks franchise. And I do think that they're having like a really, really big slump in terms of offense. Not only that, but if they just aren't able to really hone in on the talent that they could get, they might struggle in the offseason again offensively. We saw what Boston was able to do, kind of just mitigate Giannis while kind of putting the faith into the others, which didn't really work out. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it. I do expect this team to still be a contender, but they do need to make some moves fast. And yeah, it's been your boy Nehemiah, aka Neo. A couple of days from now, I'm going to start doing fake scams, so let me know if you guys are rocking with that. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.